For decades, The Simpsons has shocked fans with its eerily accurate predictions of real-world events. From political surprises to technological breakthroughs, the beloved animated series has often foreshadowed the future in ways that seem almost supernatural. Now, as March 2025 approaches, many are wondering if some of the show's wildest predictions are about to come true. Could we see a global conflict, economic collapse, or even space disasters? Let's dive into the 10 most mind-blowing Simpsons predictions for 2025. 10. The fall of big tech. Are we witnessing the collapse of giants? For decades, tech giants like Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft have dominated the world, shaping the way we communicate, shop, and live. But what if their reign is coming to an end? In a 2010 episode, The Simpsons explored the sudden collapse of a major tech company, showing how financial instability, public distrust, and internal corruption can bring even the most powerful corporations to their knees. At the time, it seemed like an exaggerated joke, but fast forward to today, and the cracks in the tech empire are starting to show. Throughout 2024, massive layoffs shook the tech industry. Companies that once seemed untouchable were forced to cut thousands of jobs, signaling deeper financial instability. AI and automation are changing the landscape, replacing jobs faster than new ones can be created. Governments worldwide are cracking down on privacy violations, monopolistic practices, and misinformation, leading to lawsuits and restrictions that could cripple even the largest corporations. Some experts warn that a massive tech collapse could be imminent. And The Simpsons may have predicted it all. Imagine waking up in March 2025 to breaking news that one of the world's biggest tech companies has declared bankruptcy. What would happen if Google's services suddenly shut down, or Meta collapsed overnight? The ripple effects would be devastating. Billions of users worldwide would lose access to essential platforms. Businesses would crumble, and economies would suffer. If The Simpsons is right once again, we could soon witness the downfall of the very companies that have shaped modern civilization. And while tech giants face an uncertain future, another Simpsons prediction warns of an even more immediate and personal crisis, a potential new pandemic that could rival or surpass COVID-19. 9. A new pandemic on the horizon. Will history repeat itself? Back in 1993, an episode of The Simpsons introduced a fictional virus known as the Osaka flu, which rapidly spread throughout Springfield, causing chaos and panic. No one could have predicted that nearly 3 decades later, the COVID-19 pandemic would bring the world to a standstill. But what if that wasn't the last time the show foresaw a global health crisis? Scientists now warn that the next major pandemic could arrive sooner than expected, and March 2025 might be the turning point. Today we're seeing alarming signs of new viral threats emerging worldwide. Avian flu outbreaks, mysterious respiratory illnesses in children, and reports of new zoonotic diseases spreading among humans have health officials on edge. Experts point to factors like climate change, deforestation, and increased human-wildlife interactions as potential triggers for future pandemics. The World Health Organization has even identified Disease X, a hypothetical but highly probable virus that could be even deadlier than COVID-19. Could this be the next global catastrophe waiting to unfold? If The Simpsons was right about COVID-19, could they have also predicted a new pandemic arriving in 2025? Governments are ramping up preparations, investing in vaccine research and global monitoring systems. But are we truly ready for another health crisis? The economic and social impact of another pandemic would be devastating, bringing new lockdowns, restrictions, and possibly even deeper societal divisions. The eerie accuracy of The Simpsons in predicting past events makes this all the more unsettling. But while a new pandemic is terrifying to imagine, another one of their predictions suggests an entirely different kind of crisis. One that doesn't affect our bodies, but rather our planet itself. 8. Extreme weather events. Could the world face a sudden deep freeze? In an unforgettable episode, The Simpsons showed Springfield being hit by an extreme cold snap, freezing the entire town and bringing daily life to a standstill. What was once played for laughs now seems chillingly possible, as scientists warn that unpredictable weather patterns could lead to sudden, severe cold spells in unexpected places. The planet is warming at an alarming rate, but this doesn't mean winters are getting milder. In fact, they could be getting worse. Changes in the jet stream and weakening polar vortexes have led to record-breaking winter storms in recent years, with places like Texas, which rarely sees extreme cold, experiencing deadly freezes. Some climate scientists warn that by March 2025 we could see a historic cold wave, disrupting power grids, transportation, and daily life across the world. Imagine entire cities freezing over, roads turning into ice sheets, and millions of people trapped in their homes without heat or electricity. The consequences would be devastating. Food supplies could run low, economies could take a massive hit, and some regions might even become uninhabitable due to extreme weather shifts. Could The Simpsons have predicted one of the biggest environmental disasters of the modern era? While a deep freeze is a terrifying thought, another Simpsons prediction suggests that human innovation might bring about an entirely different kind of crisis, one that threatens to replace our reality with something artificial. Number 7, AI and smart homes are taking over. Are machines taking over the power? In the 2008 Treehouse of Horror episode, The Simpsons installed Ultra House 3000, an AI-powered smart home designed to make their lives easier. But things quickly took a dark turn when the AI developed a mind of its own, controlling their every move and eventually becoming hostile. At the time, it seemed like a sci-fi nightmare. But now, AI-powered homes are very much a reality. From Amazon Alexa to Google Nest, millions of homes are already equipped with AI-driven assistants that control everything from lighting and temperature to security systems. But what happens when AI becomes too smart? Experts predict that by March 2025, AI homes will not only anticipate our needs, but could also monitor our emotions, track our habits, and even make decisions on our behalf. While the convenience is undeniable, the risks are terrifying. Cybersecurity experts warn that AI systems can be hacked or manipulated, putting people's privacy and safety at risk. Imagine waking up to find your home locked down by a glitch, or an AI system that starts overriding your choices, deciding when you should wake up, eat, or even leave the house. Could The Simpsons have given us a warning about the dark side of AI long before the technology even existed? As AI continues to integrate into every aspect of our lives, we might soon face an ethical dilemma. How much control are we willing to give up for convenience? Number 6, space tourism disaster. Could tourists get lost in space? In the 1994 episode Deep Space Homer, the show jokingly depicted the idea of sending an ordinary citizen, Homer, into space. At the time, it seemed like a far-fetched concept, but today it's becoming reality. With companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic pushing the boundaries of space tourism, everyday civilians are getting closer to making trips beyond Earth. By 2025, experts predict that space tourism will be more accessible than ever, with more commercial flights sending wealthy thrill-seekers into orbit. However, as exciting as this sounds, it also comes with serious risks. Space is unpredictable, and even minor technical malfunctions could turn a dream vacation into a nightmare scenario. The Simpsons might have foreshadowed a future where tourists become stranded in orbit or even lost in the vastness of space, with no way to return home. NASA and other space agencies have long emphasized the dangers of human spaceflight, and private companies, while ambitious, may not be fully prepared for every possible complication. Imagine waking up in March 2025 to a global emergency. A commercial spaceflight has gone horribly wrong, leaving passengers trapped in orbit or, even worse, stranded on the Moon or Mars. The logistical nightmare of mounting a rescue mission in deep space would be unlike anything humanity has ever faced. If The Simpsons truly predicted this, it raises chilling questions. Are we moving too fast with space tourism? Should everyday people really be allowed to leave the planet? And most importantly, are we prepared for when something inevitably goes wrong? But while space presents its own dangers, The Simpsons also foresaw a very real threat that could impact every single person on Earth: the return of Donald Trump, and possibly his ambition for a third term. 5. Trump's third term? The Simpsons might have foreseen it. One of The Simpsons' most famous predictions came in the 2000 episode Bart to the Future, where the show jokingly depicted Donald Trump as the President of the United States. At the time, it seemed ridiculous, but 15 years later, Trump became the 45th president, and the world was shocked. But here's where it gets even stranger. The show also hinted that Trump's influence wouldn't stop after just one term. Now, in 2025, Trump has officially returned to the White House after winning the 2024 election. His presidency has been polarizing, with heated debates about his policies, leadership style, and vision for the country. However, some are now speculating, could he attempt to stay in power beyond 2028? In the 2015 short film Trump-tastic Voyage, The Simpsons displayed a timeline of Trump's political career, including the years 2016, 2020, 2024, and 2028. Was this just a joke, or was it yet another terrifyingly accurate prediction? The U.S. Constitution currently limits presidents to 2 terms, but Trump has never been one to play by traditional political rules. If he were to push for an amendment to repeal the 22nd Amendment, or if he attempted some other legal maneuver, could he find a way to remain in power? Political experts warn that if Trump or his supporters challenge the system, it could lead to one of the biggest constitutional crises in U.S. history. March 2025 could mark the beginning of serious discussions about extending Trump's political reign. Will The Simpsons once again have predicted the future? If so, it could redefine democracy as we know it. And speaking of unexpected technological shifts, The Simpsons also foresaw a world where we no longer eat real food, but instead consume meals through virtual reality. 4. Eating in virtual reality: the future of dining, or a disturbing trend. In the 2011 episode The Food Wife, The Simpsons introduced a bizarre concept: dining in virtual reality, where people experience meals through immersive simulations rather than eating physical food. At the time, this seemed ridiculous. After all, who would choose a digital dinner over the real thing? But with the rise of virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, this once absurd idea might soon become our reality. In 2024, tech giants like Meta, Apple, and Google have made major strides in VR and AR development, allowing people to experience highly realistic digital environments. With devices like the Apple Vision Pro and the Meta Quest 3, users can now feel like they are in completely different worlds. But what if this technology is applied to dining? Could we reach a point where people no longer eat real food, but instead trick their senses into believing they are eating? Some experts believe that by March 2025, VR dining experiences could become widely available, allowing users to feel as if they are eating sushi in Japan or steak in Argentina, all without leaving their homes. This could have some advantages, such as helping people reduce calorie intake or allowing astronauts and remote workers to enjoy more varied meals. However, it also raises serious concerns. Would this technology blur the lines between reality and illusion? Could it lead to nutritional deficiencies as people replace real food with artificial experiences? And most importantly, how far should we let technology alter fundamental human experiences? While VR dining is on the horizon, The Simpsons also warned of something far more dangerous: the potential banning of green energy, a decision that could have disastrous effects on our planet. 3. The ban on green energy, a step backwards for humanity. In the 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding, The Simpsons hinted at a dystopian future where environmental progress was actively suppressed for corporate and political gain. It seemed absurd at the time. Why would anyone ban green energy when the world is struggling with climate change? But today, this prediction feels eerily possible. Over the past decade, governments worldwide have invested heavily in solar, wind, and renewable energy. However, powerful fossil fuel industries and political interests have pushed back. Lobbying efforts, corporate influence, and misinformation campaigns have already slowed down the transition to clean energy in several countries. Some experts now fear that by March 2025, we might see an official ban or heavy restrictions placed on renewable energy sources. Imagine a future where solar panels are taxed, wind farms are dismantled, and electric vehicles are phased out in favor of fossil fuel-powered alternatives. The consequences would be devastating. Climate change would accelerate, air pollution would worsen, and global temperatures could rise beyond irreversible levels. If The Simpsons is correct, the battle for renewable energy isn't over. It's just beginning. Will big oil win the fight against sustainability, or will people rise up to defend green energy before it's too late? One thing is certain, the future is uncertain, and The Simpsons may have given us a glimpse of what's coming next. But before we reach our final prediction, let's look at something that might completely change how we experience the world. Holograms, replacing real-life interactions. 2. Holograms take over, the future of reality or a digital illusion? In a 2004 Treehouse of Horror episode, The Simpsons showcased a futuristic world where holograms replaced traditional entertainment, communication, and even human interaction. At the time, this seemed like nothing more than a sci-fi fantasy, but as we move closer to March 2025, this vision feels shockingly realistic. Today, holographic technology is advancing at an incredible pace. Companies like Microsoft, Meta, and Apple are investing heavily in augmented reality, AR, and holography, aiming to create lifelike digital projections that feel indistinguishable from reality. We've already seen hologram concerts featuring deceased artists like Tupac and Whitney Houston, and even politicians experimenting with holographic speeches. But by 2025, we may see holograms becoming an everyday part of life, not just for entertainment, but for business meetings, customer service, and even personal interactions. Imagine walking into a store and being greeted by a holographic assistant, attending a virtual concert in your living room, or even meeting with family members through realistic 3D projections. The potential benefits are endless. No more travel hassles, no need for physical venues, and an entirely new way to connect with others. But there's also a darker side to this technology. Experts warn that holograms could be used for manipulation, creating fake news, political propaganda, and even deep fake-like digital personalities. Imagine a world where leaders give holographic speeches simultaneously across different locations, making it impossible to tell where they really are. Or worse, a world where criminals and scammers use holograms to deceive, impersonate, and exploit people in ways we can't even imagine today. If The Simpsons was right about this, March 2025 could mark the turning point where reality and illusion blur forever. Are we ready for a world where we can no longer trust what we see? Number 1 is a bonus prediction. Will 2025 be the year of the global banking crisis? If there's one thing The Simpsons has repeatedly warned us about, it's the fragility of the global financial system. In the 1998 episode The Trouble with Trillions, the show depicted a financial crisis that sent Springfield into economic chaos, with citizens panicking over their savings and banks collapsing overnight. What seemed like an over-the-top satire at the time has now become a very real fear for 2025. Over the past year, several major banks have shown signs of instability. In 2023 and 2024, financial institutions like Silicon Valley Bank and Credit Suisse collapsed, sending shockwaves through the global economy. Governments rushed to prevent a full-scale banking meltdown, but many experts warn that these bailouts and quick fixes won't last forever. With rising inflation, soaring debt, and economic uncertainty, could The Simpsons have been right once again? Imagine waking up in March 2025 to news that a major international bank has collapsed, causing a chain reaction of financial panic. Stock markets could plummet, businesses could shut down, and people might struggle to access their own money. In the worst-case scenario, a banking crisis could lead to a global recession or even a depression, changing life as we know it. The eerie accuracy of The Simpsons in predicting past financial disasters, including the 2008 recession, makes this prediction even more unsettling. Are we headed toward another economic meltdown, just as Springfield once faced? And if so, will we be prepared, or will The Simpsons have warned us too late? Final thought: is The Simpsons more than just a cartoon? For over 3 decades, The Simpsons has been a cultural phenomenon, entertaining audiences with its sharp satire and over-the-top humor. But with so many of its predictions coming true, we have to ask, is this just a coincidence, or is there something more to it? Could the show's writers have an uncanny ability to read societal trends and extrapolate them into the future? Or, if we want to get a little more conspiracy-minded, could The Simpsons actually be warning us about what's to come? Some fans even believe that the show's accuracy suggests insider knowledge or a connection to time travelers. While that might sound crazy, it doesn't change the fact that The Simpsons has predicted some of the biggest moments in modern history long before they happened. As March 2025 approaches, we'll have to wait and see how many of these predictions actually come true. But one thing's for sure, we should never underestimate The Simpsons again.